It's, a $1 million question, yeah? So everybody's interested in this right now. I was totally under measuring, how big this piece is. Make people speak to each other, yes? Right now in sales, every day can surprise me with something different. Yeah, I think we are too many times too modest in the way how we describe what we are doing. You could enter a call or a meeting and spend half of the call explaining the dictionary of what is on the slide, yes?
Good morning. Welcome to Blueprint, the B2B marketing podcast. Today with me, I've got Mateusz Wisła, Ultrasound Sales Director for Poland, Baltics, and Ukraine. I'm very fortunate to be able to talk about both marketing and sales in one episode, since Mateusz started his career with GE in marketing and then transitioned to sales. So Mateusz, good to have you here. I wonder, how was your marketing role different from what you do today?
Good morning. Hello. Thank you for having me. It's like 3 years since I moved from marketing to sales. So, now I have only the memories, yeah? But, what I think right now and how my role looked like and how it was different is that marketing work was really much better structured, yeah? So we were organized around the calendar of new product introductions, about the calendar of main congresses and conferences. So I'm working in a healthcare environment, promoting and working with sales of medical devices. So a lot is about congresses and conferences. And in this world, the marketing world is pretty much structured and organized, yeah? And especially compared to sales, yeah.
It sounds like you're suggesting that the marketing role was slow-paced, while what you do now is very
I think it's not exactly it, yeah, but I think you could expect better what can happen and how your day would look like. Yeah, so if you are preparing a campaign or a set of marketing materials or planning a participation in a conference, there is a checklist or you define at the beginning what will happen, yeah. So this is internal environment. Of course, you have some agencies you work with, but still they work with you on some agreed way of working. So it's not slower, but right now in sales, every day can surprise me with something different. Yeah, so sales is much more chaos, surprises, or different requests
improvisation
from customers. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's in that sense, it's different. Yeah.
But would it mean that you felt a bit silos, like in marketing, like detached from the reality, far from the commercial reality?
Now I think I was like this. At that time, I was much more thinking or viewing myself as a marketing person, which is rather close to the sales teams, and understand what's going on and what's needed. But I think that's the setup. Yeah. So marketing is thinking long term, planning long term. When you think about the marketing funnel, the role of the marketing is much more on the upper funnel, with awareness, with branding, with creating visibility, and those things are not directly connected with the in-person contact with a customer. Yeah. And while, currently everything happens with the customer who is in front of you, who you speak on the phone, and you have immediate feedback, concerns are very different. So it's the pace of those interactions right now and the magnitude is much bigger, yeah?
So you must feel the impact every day. You didn't feel that much in marketing?
No, in marketing, it was on a different scale. But it also has some benefits, yeah? So you have time to analyze, you have time to build a long-term strategy, you can detach from a day-to-day operational problems. Don't think about, this tender or this offer, but just think, what is the trend among my customers, how the audience will change. You can look at the other industries, look for some food for thought, what you could do differently, and plan this. Yeah, you build your marketing plan for the whole year, and then you can put some projects aside which will be testing new things and working on the different elements. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the biggest surprise when you started your first day in sales?
I'm not sure. On the first day, it was for sure the number of phone calls. Yeah. So, working in marketing, you have calls on Teams or other tools. But when you work in sales, I was shocked how many phone calls on the standard mobile you're getting. Yeah.
Ad hoc, so you have
Ad
no
hoc,
control.
Yeah. So you totally don't control it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, in the long run, what is different is that sales is dealing with a lot of other things than sales as well. Yeah.
Which are?
We are selling the physical devices, so there is a big topic of deliveries. Will the system be delivered on time? Yeah, there are legal aspects. There is financing aspects with leasing companies and so on and so on. Yeah, so salesperson, who is the main person to speak with customer, needs to have an understanding of all of those topics. Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
So the sales project doesn't finish when you get the order. It finishes when the system arrives, yeah, and customer is happy. Yeah?
I
So,
see.
that's why I was totally under measuring, how big this piece is.
Yeah, typically when you judge from a distance, it seems very simple
And smooth, yeah,
and smooth, yeah.
like this, yeah.
Exactly. So what were the skills that you had as a marketer that proved beneficial or useful when you moved on to sales?
I think, people skills are one of the first to mention. So right now, as a sales director, I'm working with people. I manage people directly, or need to influence them. So this is always important, yeah. And balancing, for example, my marketing team needs and sales team needs is one of those aspects where you need to know how to handle them, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'd like to know more about that, because you said kind of balance that, and you opened the topic of empathy, like people working together, both externally and externally. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty intuitive, I guess, when you're in the sales role. But when you're in the sales team and you still need some kind of support from your marketing colleagues, how do you build this empathy? How do you make sure that you go out of having two separate silos and that they actually do a job that is valuable for you?
Oh, it's a $1 million question, yeah. There is no magic trick in my view, yeah. And being on both sides, I saw it from the both sides. So you need to set some structure, and people need to cooperate. Yeah. So there are some things they need to cooperate. You need to set some framework. You need to force people to speak with each other. You need to let them. You need to force them also to somehow put themselves in the other shoes. Yeah. So for marketing people, it's to maybe go with a salesperson, shadow them for one day, meet some customers, see how this day looks like, see that it's not only nice discussions, but also customers who don't have time, and you spend 2 hours in a car and nobody was waiting for you. So, to see and listen to many stories from that word. And for the salesperson, it's also the same. Yeah? So also the willingness to be with the marketing people, spend some time, understand why preparation of a campaign or preparation of a promo video takes so much time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
this
how often do you speak with the sales guys that support you?
I speak on a daily basis. Yeah, I'm managing them. Yeah, but when you think about their interaction with marketing, so we have a campaign risk, we have the calendar risk, so they are on a weekly basis. But it's not in a big group; it's on a one-on-one relation a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what do you expect from them? I mean, in what way they can really support what you're doing?
You mean the marketing?
The marketing team, yeah.
It's very different depending on the case. Yeah. So there are some ground-based things. Yeah. So some ground rules. Yeah. So we are taking part in many conferences and events, and we would love to see our booth and all of the promo material to be ready. So I would say this attention to the details and the simple things. Yeah. Which sometimes for the marketeers might be, boring.
Not
or,
ambitious enough,
tedious, yeah, but they are important, and they make a lot of difference, yeah. So this, not to exaggerate, but to have a good say-do ratio, that you claimed as a marketing person you will do this booth, have this promo materials, brochures, and so on, is really important, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So not like rocket science solutions, but
Not always. Yeah, I think we need to be realistic. In many cases, what's foundational is enough. Yeah, but there is an aspect of an expectation towards marketing, that marketing will create new ideas, will bring some innovation, will have this wow effect. Yeah, and it's not needed always. Yeah, but there are some moments. on a big conference, in some digital campaigns, you'll launch a new product where it would be nice to have something from marketing which is helping bringing this wow effect and generate this good awareness association from the customer. Yeah.
But this would be wow effect in terms of, let's say, kind of performance or brand. What do you think?
Can be in both, can be in both. Yeah. There is, we did some augmented reality stuff, which was bringing this wow effect. It was 3 years ago, and both our teams, the field teams and customers were, really eager to see what's that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, this is something which didn't have any details, clinical value, very advanced education behind. But anybody who witnessed this had this, wow, this is nice, interesting. I would like to learn more. Yeah.
Nice.
At the same time, it's nice to also have something which is, educational content done in a really different way, nice way. Yeah. So it can be on different layers.
Yeah. So we smoothly move on to another part, which is more on audience.
Okay.
Because this is, I think, quite special audience. I mean, it feels a bit like B2B, but these are human beings, plenty of individuals. I wonder, what is this audience like? I mean, healthcare professionals, because I understand it's not homogeneous.
Yeah, but I think you mentioned B2B, then healthcare, those would be a bit separate sets, right?
Explain.
Because I think, people are buying, yeah? We are dealing with people. We are doing business with people, yeah? So in that sense, B2B is a definition of how we do business. What's the entity on the other side, which creates the context, yeah? Because one of the big things with B2B is that the sales cycle can be much longer. So the moment from when you think about buying a new product through the, search, awareness, some other things, elements, till the sales is finalized, can take weeks, months, quarters, sometimes even years. Yeah.
For ultrasound, for example, yeah.
With a very complex project for many ultrasound units in some country or region, it can be really long. Yeah. But then we need to understand what the role of marketing can be. Yeah. So this creates a lot of specifics. Yeah. So we need to understand if at this moment we just focus on awareness and we want to show us as a really credible brand, advanced brand, stable, reliable, or are we at this final stage where we need to, make just convince somebody that he will leave us his data, want some more details, or we want just to promote some additional feature in a very nice way. So a very detailed thing. Yeah.
What is it that would resonate with your audience? I still want to understand better who is this audience here.
Yeah, but this audience can be different people. Yeah, so it can be a doctor. So in our case, it's a user of the ultrasound equipment who has it. It's specifics. It can be a board of directors in a hospital. It can be a procurement department. Everybody of them is looking at different aspects. Clinical, so how I can serve my patients. Business aspects, how much it costs, how much money I can earn from this. And service aspects, is it hassle-free equipment and so on. Yeah.
But isn't it like that really the doctors would have the biggest say in the process?
It depends. It really depends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Historically, yes. But it really depends on the context. Yeah.
And how do you balance between this educational, factual aspect and something that is a bit more, like speaking to a human being?
But you educate a human being. In that sense, it's nothing contradictory, right?
Nerds. In that respect, or
but it's like you would choosing your car. Yeah, there are some people who will look into any details of the engine. They would how the engine is built and so on and so on. And you have people who will just look at the main features, and some of them will just buy another brand, another model because they were using it since 20 years. Yeah, so you have some different groups, and we also have nerds who want to understand every details. There is also a group which is looking at how easy it is to use and those elements. So in that sense, it's not very different from what you see in the B2C world.
In one of my previous discussions, I heard that doctors were seen, not all the doctors, but plenty of those were seen as business people. And I wonder if you have a similar observation, that aside from obviously their, like what they do with the patients, how they help, they also have a very kind of business focused eye. Is it the case?
When we are selling the equipment, we are selling this to the company. So somebody owns this company, and it also can be a doctor. Yeah. So he's owning this business. He needs to take care of his employees. He has his methods of earning money. He has his costs. So he's a full speed business person. And if you would be looking at the size of the healthcare industry, the number of employees in an average hospital in Warsaw where we are right now, it's a pretty big business if you think about this. Yeah. So they need to have this business acumen as well. Yeah. But it's a special one because you have a patient in mind. Yeah. So
balancing between those two. And looking for some practical tips, if you speak about the audience and content, was there anything that you found specifically, useful or effective as a marketer and now as a person that is closer to the client?
I particularly liked all of the ideas which were connecting the digital and so the online and offline world. Yeah, so I remember back, 5 years ago, using QR codes and some connection with the physical materials to the online pages or videos was something new, and this was working in a really nice way. Yeah.
Isn't it the case that, let's say, because we often feel like the attention span is very limited, even for professionals, that, people are with you when you were at the event, but once they leave, they kind of completely forget about you. So do you think they still kind of revert to digital materials later on, or?
You need to have a good reason, yeah? And then we come back a little bit to your previous question, yeah? Because you also mentioned, this wow effect, something which is, more on this creative side, yeah? But you need to have also an element where you provide what customer wants, yeah? So in our case, if I can, for example, envision one customer segment, so young doctor residents who wants to learn ultrasound skills. So everything around education for ultrasound skills is appreciated by them. And you have different groups. You have physical courses where they can come and learn and have the probe, but at the same time there is a potential to have some training videos which show them some basics, and this they look for. Yeah, so if you give them the access to a valuable content, they will do this, and of course it will never be 100%.
Yeah, I know that when we just focus on the offering of GE Ultrasound, I know that you are quite strong with AI. I mean, AI being an embedded element. So this seems like a good pretext, education-wise, that this is a quite unknown area.
Artificial intelligence right now, AI application in healthcare is for sure a hot topic. If you would look at the agenda of the big congresses, it has its spot. So it gathers a lot of people, yeah? So everybody's interested in this right now.
And sales-wise and marketing-wise, you kind of jump the wave as well. I mean,
that's what you do. So you want to, feel they need, and need is right now to explain what's going on, yeah? And from one side, it's, how this works right now, where we are on this development phase. So there is a lot of our work around education, what artificial intelligence, machine learning really is. So that's our role as well in this whole thing. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I know that in healthcare, there is a notion that doesn't exist by this name in other industries, like key opinion leader. I mean, in other areas, we speak about mostly influencers.
Yes.
But here it's quite serious. Key opinion leaders. And this topic of AI is very new for everyone. Yeah, I mean, I imagine that for these guys as well. Do you already have like key opinion leaders in this area?
AI in healthcare? Yeah, we do. Yeah, maybe and yes, we do, and they are also very specific. Yeah, so even if you think about AI in healthcare, you have a more patient-related AI, like chat with patients. You can embed on your website, so improving the customer service. Yeah, so this is something completely different to what we are doing. So having AI tools in our systems that help you do the ultrasound scan in a different way. So
diagnosis and so on.
Too many details, yeah. But there are many different elements in healthcare system where AI can find its place, yeah. And also it will mean something different for a GP than for cardiologist than for oncologist, yeah. So when you open this Pandora box, it can be a lot of many different things, yeah. And this brings me also to one more hint, that many times when marketing people and sales people come together, they start speaking in a language they don't understand each other. So
using buzzwords,
using some abbreviations. Also, each big company has its own abbreviations, and you could enter a call or a meeting and spend half of the call explaining the dictionary of what is on the slide. Yeah, so I think this is important. And I would expect this a bit from the marketing people, to be able to explain what is happening from the marketing side in a simple way that all of the people around would understand. Yeah,
I've been on these calls.
That's reality.
That's right. Well, we opened another topic, which is innovations. AI was an example of that. I wonder, for the world of marketing and sales, I mean, those kind of overlap. Do you see any emerging technologies or solutions or things that they excite you and you think are specifically useful in sales and marketing? Yeah, channels, tools, approaches.
Not an easy question, yeah. I think AI as a content of the communication will stay for some time. So this is a big thing. I think what we are doing right now as a podcast is also a thing which is gathering more and more attention. I even was surprised. I have one example from the past where we used TikTok, and at that time it was 2021. It was considered like totally not a channel where you promote addressing healthcare professionals. But unboxing our product can be a thing you put on TikTok apparently, yeah, and getting a really huge reach. So it showed to us that our audience, doctors, people working in different healthcare facilities, they are on all of those channels, yeah. So it's
including TikTok,
TikTok, yeah, which I think right now is much more a common understanding, yeah. But at that time, everybody was surprised, yeah. So I remember when I started 2015, there was a starting point of explaining why we should be on Facebook. And now nobody questions this. Now it's more rather why we are not on Instagram in a way we would like to be, yeah. So we can do such things.
And in terms of I don't know, like solutions like data enrichment, because I know you have some background in this area, so I know enriching data or like website traffic forensics, anything that would be useful for you on the sales side.
Of course, I
Still
would like.
compliant, obviously.
Of course, I would love to know which customer visited my website, what he was looking for, and what is the perfect moment to get in touch with him. Yeah. But there are a lot of limitations to what technology can do right now. Yeah. So I think it is a topic, but it all depends on, what you are selling and how the cycle looks like. Because also in healthcare industry, we have a pretty good coverage. So one of the big things, if you compare to the consumer business, is that in consumer business, you don't know your customer because the customer base is so big.
It's a mass customer, yeah.
In our case, if you take, the statistical data, you have something like 75,000 plus doctors in Poland. You have a split by specialty. You know how many of them you have there. So in reality, you probably are in touch with them during a calendar year. You are in touch with many of them, yeah. So there is also one thing to be careful how these interactions of the sales team and marketing interactions are not conflicting with each other, yeah. And from that sense, I have a lot of concerns if this account-based marketing or enriching data understanding is needed, yeah.
Okay, so you think there could be too much of this communication or kind of unorchestrated?
Or you can, if you think that the sales process takes 6 months, there are some proposals outstanding to the customers and then marketing comes with another campaign, brilliant, with a special offer. It is a conflict area, potential one, yeah. So this needs to be coordinated as well.
So what are the solutions to avoid this?
Make people speak to each other, yeah. So
Right.
and you need to have a process when you launch the campaign so that you don't launch something which can be conflicting with team in the field, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen this ambition many times to launch different campaigns for different products, but actually speak to the same audience, yeah, which is
That's one thing, yeah. Or then you launch too many different campaigns about the same product in a different way. Or, one of the learnings, I have or experiences I have, the samples we are getting are many times too small to have statistically meaningful conclusions. So that's also one element that if you start looking for some niche, because if you want to have a good content, provide the value, you need to be specific. You speak about different things to interventional cardiologist than you do to the general cardiologist, yeah. So but then if you start looking at how big this audience is in Poland, for example, and how many people you can reach with your campaign, you are limiting your database reach, and statistically it's not working in the way you are thinking, yeah. And localization is important, yeah. So customers in Germany are looking in a different way at the marketing and the information they look at than in Poland or Middle East, yeah. So we can't be. I would be very careful from my experience with just copy paste approach from France to Poland or UK to Poland.
But if I'm trying to understand really like an actionable something actionable from what you say, would it mean that it's better to have bigger groups, bigger segments, just to have greater numbers and be able to have some conclusions, statistic conclusions based on that? Or still be very narrow, but not really know what is the outcome of
I
the
would be
campaign?
very careful with anything which is statistical. Yeah, because statistical means we do some extrapolation of the results we get. Yeah, but we should measure. And we are very much focused on measuring the results of the marketing activities. Yeah.
So you're trying to measure
Leads, opportunities, business we are doing. Yeah. And I am fully aware we can't measure everything. So, measuring everything is killing the innovation. Yeah.
I very rarely speak people that speak about the incapabilities. They mostly focus on success. But this is interesting because, it's good. I mean, the mainstream says, let's have numbers, because if we don't control numbers, it means we don't understand, and so on. On the other hand, I understand that you are guiding me a bit towards something like qualitative assessment, or like not looking at statistics, but looking at individual
I would like
cases.
to see the results of the campaign. So if we had leads or opportunities and the campaign was created or defined in a way, you should gather those, so we should get these numbers. And with time, you have comparisons of the campaigns, so you can see what was working better or worst. But I would put some qualitative element as well. Yeah, so this is important. Yeah, so purely looking at data, you may not understand what was happening behind. Yeah.
Okay. In this case, the numbers would not be helpful. So what would be those? Because it's also about, assessing if the campaign was successful or not. It's very much is tied to first deciding what is the goal of this campaign,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So if you are not so much about metrics, and I remember you spoke about some metrics being vanity metrics, what would be other goals or other metrics or other characteristics of campaign that you would be looking at?
Right now, in my current role, I'm looking very much at leads and opportunities created, and in the end, revenue we get out of the campaigns. Yeah, so that's the ultimate goal. Yeah, the tough part is with branding and awareness. Yeah,
How to measure that? Yeah.
this is difficult. Yeah, and we will never know. Yeah, but I have many people, sales team members in my team. Yeah, so that if you run an awareness campaign, and people will approach you because they saw something, received something, you get at least some fragmented feedback that something happened. Yeah. This is not a 100% proof, that it was working, but we have also activities then that nobody reached and we couldn't see any result. Yeah. I'm looking as well, at the impressions, clicks, and so on, or, evaluating database quality, but I have some sense of doubt when I look at those data. Yeah. So that there can be a lot of playing with this as well.
No, I very much like this approach when you say when you have a single kind of voice of customer, it's a hypothesis of how something could work. And if you have a couple of those hypotheses, I understand you can have a bigger picture. I think this can be can be quite valuable.
And market research done in a proper way brings a lot of value. Understanding also brings you maybe majority of market researches in my experience weren't, I would say, breakthrough, but they were putting the focus in the right places. So the conclusions we're telling you is the problem in education we provide, in the communication method, in this or that. Yeah, and this was useful to help us decide what we should fix first or improve first. Yeah.
Yes, and also, I mean, it's fully logical for me that you look at the sales volume or number of opportunities. This is what you can quantify, compare, and so on. But in such a long sales cycle, let's say it can take, I don't know, a couple of months or maybe even more than a year. In between the opportunity and sales, you don't really have those very direct signals of success. So I understand that this is when you actually try to get feedback from client or
yes, but
analyze
also
interest.
that's one of the role of marketing in such words. Yeah, because marketing can help us stay in touch with the customer. Yeah, and this is pretty easy in the current systems to see what kind of emails or messaging or campaigns should reach the customer within this time. Yeah. We never have a full confidence that customer read and understood what was there. Yeah. But at least it gives us opportunity to scale up a bit the activities. Yeah. So this I wouldn't neglect. Yeah. And okay, I said that you can buy the system and decide within 2 weeks time and 3 months. Yes. So there are all things in between as well. And it's good to try to understand how quickly we can convert the customer and make him buy, or how we should plan for, next 18 months. Yeah. So this is another segmentation we are doing or should be doing. Yeah. And of course, the paid campaigns, promotions, special offers, time limited offers, all of those basic stuff works in the places where you think you have an understanding that customer can buy in this way.
Well, you obviously work for a massive brand that everyone knows, so there is some hidden power there just in the logo itself. I wonder, if we take it out, what the skills you've in sales that you think are specifically valuable in order to be successful in your role, or in a similar role? If you take out the big logo that obviously is somewhere there.
But you mean my role is in sales management?
Yeah, sales management, yeah. The type of skill or...
I think there are many things, but you need to gather a good group of people, because you have good people, you take care of them, they will take care of their customers, So that's number one, and you need to put priorities where they should be, and you should people led to their job, So that's the key thing to bring the results in a consequent way. And there are many things where we can't influence. It's not depending on us. Customer will decide in a different way. Budget might be not there, or product might not be available, or we don't have the most competitive product. I mean, usually we do, but so this we can't impact, but we should be, honest to ourselves where we can win and what we should do in which places. So that's the key thing. And my role is to help people navigate in this environment and simplify the whole world for them. So, sales can be simple, but can be also very complex.
Depending how close you are to the field.
Yes.
If you were to give advice to your younger self to be successful in sales and marketing, what would it be?
I think it would be to try different things, So especially at the beginning, it's about trying many different things. So if you are in the marketing role, try not only different marketing tactics, channels, but also try to understand marketing strategy, look at price positioning, try to understand how market research is done and how it should be done. Marketing has this phrase of market, so try to understand your market and try to look in the other industries how this can be done, because have a slightly different way of looking at your market, segmenting, describing your customers. That would be one, but then the longer you are in the place, you need to be able to decide what's my next decision, what's my next focus, what is the project I should focus on, So I believe there is a lot in prioritization because the number of tasks or things we can do is incredible, And that's the only thing, And let's not be scared, I think we are too many times too modest in the way how we describe what we are doing,
Great. Mateusz, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.